Hey, this is Andrew Brown, and in this video, what we're going to do is look at S3 multi-part upload. So we have our AWS examples repo. I'm going to open it up in my cloud developer environment. Choose which one you want to work with, but of course, if you use the same one as me, it's going to be a lot easier. So in order to use S3 multi-part upload, we absolutely have to use either the SDK or the CLI. I'm going to keep continuing on using the CLI since I find that to be the most useful way of uploading stuff. So I'm going to just put in here multi-part upload as a new folder. And we're going to go ahead and create ourselves a new file. And actually, I meant to make that a folder, so we'll try that again. So multi-part upload. And we'll create a new file in here. I'm going to call this readme.md. And the idea is that we're going to have to initiate, finish. We'll need to upload each part, upload parts. Okay, and so this will be a bit of a multi-step process. We do need a file large enough, so I'm going to go ask ChatGPT, how do I create a file that is 50 megabytes in size? And hopefully we have fsutil, so I'm going to go take a look here, fsutil. It is not a command that is found. And, oh, that's for Windows, that's why. So here it suggests, oh, we can use dd. So dd is a very common command. So first we'll create a large file. I don't want to commit this file to the repo, so I can just go ahead and type in git ignore. And what we'll do is we'll need to name this file. So I'm just going to call this large file txt or large file. We don't really need an extension there. I'll stick with txt, I guess. They have that there as well. And so this one's going to be called large file txt. I want to make sure when I create this that I'm in the correct directory. Otherwise, it's not going to ignore that file, and I'll end up committing this to the repo, and I really don't want to make that mistake. So I'm going to go here and just drag this on down below. Whoops. Drag this on down below. Come on, drag this on down below. Okay, I'll drag out the README file. There we go. And we'll copy the address and paste that on in here. And I'll just say cd, so I just know that I'm in the correct directory before running that command. So we'll paste that in, and then we'll go ahead and see if we can create a file that is large enough. And so here it's suggesting that we have a large file. We can check this by doing ls-lah for human readability. And it's suggesting here the file is 166. Maybe LAH on this, like that. There we go. And so we can see the file is 50 megabytes, right? So I'll go ahead here and just say PS. We'll just prep this to grep and just say large. Okay, and so this way we can see how large that file is, right? And so now that we have our file, we want to begin the upload process. So before we do that, we'll need to create a new bucket. This bucket's going to be called, it was S3 make bucket S3:/ multi-part fun AB and some random numbers. We'll go ahead and paste that on in here. Whoops. So we'll copy that and we'll paste it in. Come on here. Come on, there we go. I'm going to try this again. Hit enter. So that will go ahead and create our bucket. Now we need to initialize an upload. So we'll type in AWS S3 CLI, and we'll go see if we can find the command that is used to initiate the multi-part upload. I'm going to type in multi-part, and I assume that's part of the name. So we have create and complete. So open this one in that tab. Actually, before we do, I'll make sure we're on version 2, and then we'll open up the complete, and we'll open up the create, and then there's a part for parts. So look up for parts. We have list parts, upload part. Here we go. And so those are the 3 commands we're going to need. So I'm going to stick with create, go down to examples, and grab this one here. And we'll paste this in here. I'm going to go to the complete, go to the examples, and we are going to, I suppose, copy this one here. And then we'll need one for parts. So go here down below to the example and copy that one as well. Okay. And so we have created our bucket. So that is good. And let's see how we can work through this command. So we have multipart upload. We'll need to specify our bucket. And then we need to specify the key. I'm going to just name it the same thing as the text file. So large file.txt. And what we'll do is go ahead and copy this and paste it in and hit enter. And so now we have an upload ID that we got back here. So we definitely want that. So we will say, remember to grab the upload ID. So in this case, it is this one here. EG, and paste that in there. Because we'll need it for the next part here. So this one's a little bit longer, so I'm just going to go ahead and make our lives a little bit easier by breaking these up into separate lines. And we have to specify the parts of the file. And then that's our upload key here, so I'll go ahead and grab this and copy it to here. Now here's the question is, okay, we initiated upload, but what do we actually see in the console? So if we go into S3 and we go into our new bucket, which is multipart fun upload, do we see the file? No, we do not. So how could we see that? Let's go take a look here and say multipart or just part. And somewhere here it should show us something. Create, complete, abort. List multipart upload. So let's go take a look there and see if we can see ours. So initiate, list multipart uploads. And I'm going to just assume it's AWS S3 and we can just do that. I can't imagine it would take any additional parameters other than the bucket. So go ahead and grab this. Okay, let's take a look here and see if that works. No, it doesn't like it. It's because I added this little 3 here. We'll try this one more time. We'll go ahead and hit enter. And so we can see we're getting some parts, and that's the one that we are currently working on. So I want to break up this file into 10 parts. So that's something that we will need to go ahead and figure out. So I'm just going to take a look here. So we have, we'll take this. And by the way, if you didn't get it in this point, we could get the that upload key from this here. So I'm just going to go ahead here and paste this in. And let's say we wanted to get the upload ID. We can grab it by going here and saying query, upload, and then we'll just say upload ID. And if we do this, it should then return them all. So yeah, so just in case you lost that there, you can get it from there. But anyway, we want to upload each part. We need to divide the part into separate files. So that will be the next thing. How do we divide a 50 megabyte file into 5 files using the Linux CLI, Linux commands? And so I'm just going to see if there's any kind of built-in command. So it seems like we could maybe use the split command. Let's see if that even exists. Split. It looks like it does because it's timing out. I hit Control-C to get out of that. We'll go back over here. We'll take a look here. So we have split -b 10m d and then prefix. Prefix is the output files. So for example, if you have part, you're going to name the files part 001, 002. All right, so I'm not exactly sure what they want us to do here, but what I'm going to do is just put the command in and see what happens. We'll say large file and say txt. And now it's broken it up into those 5 parts. So what I'll do is just delete this out here. Permanent delete. And we'll go back over to here. And this looks pretty good. Split the file. And I'm going to go here, and we're going to say large file part. And that way we'll split into separate ones. I'm going to grab this here because I really don't want to, again, have any of these files for later. I don't want them committed to my repo. So I'm going to go here and just paste this in here and put an asterisk on the end. So if any file has that particular naming, it's going to ignore it. We'll go ahead and split the file and try this again. Hit enter. And so now we have our parts. And here we have different keys. I think we have to use the same key here. I'm not sure why they named it like that, but large file.txt. Maybe we'll simplify it by having it up like this, and then we'll just keep the body on a separate line and that on a separate line. So we have part 1, and this is going to be named large file part 00. And then we'll just keep going through it here. If we want to make our lives a little bit easier, we can set this to an environment variable. So I'm just going to say upload ID, and then I'm just going to grab this here. Okay, and I'm just going to paste it to be this value here. I'm just say export on this, because I don't want to continually type this. It's kind of frustrating, eh? So we'll go ahead and we will just paste that in here. And then I'm just going to do env grep upload to make sure that we can see that that has been set. It has been. Excellent. And so now what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and say upload ID, and then we're going to reference this environment variable here as such. And so that way, I think it'll be a lot easier for us to specify all the parts, because we can keep everything as a single line now. Okay, so we'll go here. I'm going to delete this line out. So we have part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We said we would have 5 files. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. The thing is that each of these are going to return back an E tag. Technically, the E tag is an MD5 hash, so we could actually generate it locally, but I would rather get it back when we actually upload the part. I want to see what we get returned when we actually upload that part there. So if we go down to upload part, I want to see what the output looks like. And so here it's suggesting that the output is going to be pretty flat and just get an E tag. So I don't think we have to do anything special. It's going to be pretty easy to get each part, but just in case, I'm going to go here and type in query, and I'm going to just type in E tag, because this isn't wrapped in anything. A lot of times when you get these objects, they'll have a high level object, but it doesn't. So I'm not really sure what to do for this query. Maybe period on this here. This part will definitely upload, but we'll go ahead and try this out and see what happens. And just remember to be in the same folder or this is not going to work. So it doesn't like my query. The other thing that's going to matter here, and I just realized this, is that there's a period in the name, and that's going to mess things up. So, well, actually maybe not, because we're passing it this way. So let's try it without the query first. Just going to make sure I still have all my parts. It keeps deleting one out here. We'll just take this line out here like that. So let's just try this individually and see what happens. So I'll go ahead and, oh, the other thing is that the bucket is not the correct name. So that's not going to work if we don't fix that. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to say export bucket name or bucket, and we're just going to assign it as such and make my life a little bit easier. So we'll go here and just say, if you're wondering how I'm doing that, that's a Vim command. You'll just have to do it however you need to do it. We'll go ahead and we will paste that in here. And it's still complaining. Why? What's the problem? We'll go ahead and hit enter. It says body value must be a file to a path. So what we can do here is just do this. And that might resolve our issue here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that and hit enter. And we'll hit enter again. Unload load parameter, no such file or directory. So now it's saying this file doesn't exist. So we have a spelling mistake. I forgot the E, so I'll just take it out of here. Or you know what I'll do is I'll just fix the file names. We'll go here and rename. This one will have large file. And then this one will have large file. And then this one will have large file. And then this one will have large file. I know I made one mistake there. I'll go back and fix it here. And we'll just keep fixing those names until everything is consistent. I should have just named them parts. It would have been a lot easier. I don't know why I had to put the name large file in there. Okay. And so now what we'll do is we'll go over here and we will upload this part. I'm going to hit enter. And it still has a problem. We'll hit enter. Now what is the problem now? Blob values must be a file to a path. And also notice that this file is named incorrectly. It should be E. Hold on here. Did this actually work? It is either binary or etc. So I'm not really confident with this here because this one, the file was named incorrectly. So I'm not even convinced that this actually generated out correctly. So what I'm going to do, because that file was called largee file text. I'm just going to go back here and let's make sure that we can see the file size here. Make sure we'll do this again. And yeah, there is 50 here. These all are the right files, but I'm going to go ahead and delete them. I just don't trust them, okay? And I'm going to rectify our mistake, and instead of having large file, I'm just going to call this part. And then up here, we'll just call this part. And so that might make our lives a little bit easier here. Good. And so we'll clear this. And let's see if we can get this to work. We'll hit enter again. The body blob value must be a path to a file. Okay, what if I just put the body as this? That worked. Okay, my major concern is that that part might not actually be a streaming blob. So this argument of type is a streaming blob. Its value must be the path to a file and must not be prefixed with this. Okay, so this is just how the API can be extremely inconsistent. And it can be really frustrating. Sometimes you have to do it, sometimes you don't, but we'll go ahead and do this instead. And the thing that we want out of this is we want to grab all the E tags. So as we're doing this, remember to grab all the E tags. Another thing that we could do is check the list parts here before we decide to do that. Maybe we can grab them retroactively. So I know that there is a command for list parts. Let's go take a look at that. List parts here. We'll go down to examples. And so this will list out the parts and it'll actually have their numbers. So we don't have to really worry about collecting them right now. And we'll just go ahead and execute all these here. So we'll go ahead and do part 2. And then we'll do part 3. And then we'll do part 4. And we'll do part 5. And then we'll say get all the parts with their E tags. Complete here. I think we might have had this previously. I guess not. Must have deleted that. But here, when we want to complete it, we are going to need to provide it the multi-part upload file. So here we know we have our upload ID. So we'll just take this out. Whoops. Just go back here. We'll say upload ID. And then we have our bucket here. So it'll be our bucket. And then here, this is just large file.txt. And there is that structure file. And what does it look like? It expects it to be in this format here. So I think that's exactly kind of what we get back when we list parts. It looks very similar. So what we'll do here is we'll go and say, get all the parts with the E tags. Of course, if you're uploading more than one Well, actually, no, it only returned the parts for this upload, so that would be fine. We're not going to end up intermixing other parts. So I'm going to go say upload ID here, and we'll say large file.txt, and then the bucket here is going to be bucket. We're going to go see what we get back as a result, because we don't want all of it. What's its problem? The specified upload does not exist. I mean, I think it does because we got all these correct. I'm going to copy from here. No, that's identical. And is this identical? Yeah. So then what's the problem? We'll go back to list parts. So it has bucket, bucket, key, key, upload ID. We'll type in clear here. I'm going to try this again. I'm going to paste this in. So now we get it back. And we're getting the parts back. It does have other data in there, and I'm not sure if that's what we would want. But I do know that we want the parts. So I can go here and say query and say parts. And if we do this, we'll now only get back the parts. I only want very particular things in here, so maybe I can do this by doing this and specifying the exact ones. I'm not sure, so we'll just look up JSME path. I believe that's what AWS is using. It's JME. Well, we'll click it here. I think it told us here just a moment ago. Yeah, there it is. JMES path. And I only want very particular information. So I definitely want I definitely want that stuff, but I only want particular things. So let's go to the tutorials and see if we can just select specific information. So here we get foo. Here we can select very specific numbers. This one's not very useful to me because I want to get specific things. Oh, it's all on the same page here. Okay, so we got people. So I will grab people and just the first name. So again, just trying to find how we can grab that information. So here we can do name and select and we'll return it, but I still want it to be in the structure of a JSON object. Here we go. This looks like what we want. So I'm going to grab this one here and we're going to go back. I'm going to paste it in like this. And we only want specific things. We want the part number, which is part number. And then here we just want e-tag, and we'll go take a look at what it wants. So this complete multipart wants part number and e-tag. It's spelled exactly the same way. So we can just do this. Part number, e-tag, and then this is off of parts, of course. The only thing that I want is I still want this to be wrapped in that part. And so I'm not sure if that will do that. Let's go ahead and see what we get if we do this. We'll hit enter. It doesn't like this part here. Why? Name, part. I don't really see the problem here. Maybe we need to wrap this in double quotations. Sometimes that helps with these queries when they get a little bit too complex. Because it might be breaking on the period, or somewhere else. I'm not really sure. It could be the curlies that's messing it up. And so now we're getting our data structure back. The only thing is that I still wanted to still return parts, right? So that's the only thing that it's doing that I don't like. And so I'm not exactly seeing that. But at least it saves a little bit of the work for us. So it's not exactly perfect, but it's pretty close. And I was just hoping that we could get an exact output here that worked for us. So what I'm going to do is just dump this to a file, and we're going to say manifest, I guess, or parts JSON. And so I think this should work. And there is our file there. What does it want in front of it? It just wants parts and then a wrap like that. So we'll go here and we'll say, well, hold on, we'll check again. Curlies, parts, double quotation around this. And then we need to just bring that on the bottom here. And I'm just going to bring this in and indent it once. And so I think this is the structure that it wants, right? We're going to go back and check this again. This one, it's escaping it here. I don't really want it escaped, the E tags. So, I mean, they don't escape it. So if they don't escape it, I don't want to escape these. So I'm just going to take these out so we don't have a problem. We could also use JQ to make this a bit nicer, but I don't want to play around with JQ right now. I just want to get this done. I am hungry. It's near lunchtime. So we have our parts here. This looks good. And so now what we need to do is supply this file. So I'm going to go ahead and say parts JSON. And I'm going to hope that this works. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Okay. And we'll go ahead and we'll copy this. And we'll hit enter. No errors. The way we know that this worked is if we go over to here and we refresh, and if the file's there, the file's there. And I don't see our file, so let's go back over here. Oh, did we have an error? Okay, I don't think it actually executed this command. So I'm going to go ahead and try this again. Right-click copy, right-click paste, enter. That's not a good indicator, but we'll go ahead and hit enter anyway. Let me guess, we're not supposed to provide the path like there. Invalid JSON, there's something wrong here. I noticed that the other one, you don't do file : : but this one, file : / but this one you actually do. Well, there's definitely invalid JSON, but I thought we took all those out. So maybe we didn't save the file. Oh, for frick's sakes. I'm going to make this a little bit easier on myself, and I'm just going to go ahead and flatten this a bit. Okay, I'm just going to bring these up like this so I can see what the heck I am doing. You know what happened is that we ran the file again and it took out the formatting. That's what happened. So it wasn't that we didn't do it. It was just that we mucked it up, eh? And so we'll just make this a little bit more compressed. And the advantage of this, if you know how to do multi-line select, you might not be able to know how to do this. But I can just go down the side and remove those extra ones, but they're gone. I thought I was going to have to remove them manually, but they're not there. So I suppose that's fine. You just make sure that this file is the same. Just going to double check here. I'm going to hit Q here and type in clear. Let's go back over to the README. We're going to copy this again. We're going to paste this again. We're going to hit enter. And it looks like it worked. We're going to go back here and refresh. The file is there. It's 50 megabytes. This is a random file that we generated, so I'm not sure if it even has any useful information in it. It's a really large file, so we can't view the contents of it. So it doesn't really matter. We'll go ahead and delete this. So we've essentially achieved what we wanted to achieve. So that is great. I'll delete this object. And now we can get rid of this bucket. So we'll go all the way top here. And we'll just clean up. Say clean up. And we'll say remove bucket. And just in case you did not remove the file, you can do it here as well. Large file.txt. We'll go ahead and copy that. Hit enter. And the bucket is gone. The file is gone. And I want to make sure that we're not uploading those parts. So our git ignore, we changed it. So I'm going to go ahead and just switch it to this. Give this a refresh. Okay, great. And add this here. Whoops. Multipart upload. And there you go. We did multipart upload. See you in the next one.